Good morning, Colorado Springs. It's another brighter day in the neighborhood, and I'm your host, Angela Jones. Today, join me in welcoming Jayme Holligan.
Good morning, Angela.
Good
Thank you so much for
morning.
having me. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
So we had some time to spend together last week, and I'm really
Yes.
glad that you were able to come on and join us today.
Thank
I'm
you.
really excited for our listeners to get a chance to know you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off like I always do. I always love to highlight when we have a Colorado Springs native
Yes.
on the show. So tell us a little bit about your background here in Colorado
Yes.
Springs.
I feel like an extinct bird. I'm, growing up here in the Springs, there's very few of us. Went to Palmer High School. I grew up about a mile east of the Colorado College area and loved living in this region. I lived elsewhere for a period of time, moved back, and I just love the quality of life here, the outdoors, and the people are so genuine.
So you're from sort of the old North Endish Colorado College neighborhood,
Yes.
which is where the Brighter Day Law offices are.
Yes.
And what do you think about all the growth that we've had in that area in the past couple of years?
It's amazing. I mean, to have the hockey stadium right there is terrific. The fact that they don't have to go further south, and it's just historic, and it's a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah. Have you been to the stadium?
Not yet.
I haven't either. I think that's something we've been, we actually looked at getting season tickets when it first opened up, and they were gone like that. And so what we were able to get were not ideal seats. And so I'm intended to pick up a couple, but you know how it goes with things changing. But we're really looking forward to getting in to see that stadium and
That's great.
and watching the kids play over there. So you said you came back here from...
Yeah, so ultimately I grew up here in the Springs, but after college I actually worked in Orlando. My undergrad is from CU Boulder, had an opportunity to do an internship with Walt Disney World in Orlando. It was amazing, met people from all over the world, learned about leadership. I worked at the Magic Kingdom as a park greeter and met people from all over. So those were leadership principles that helped carry me through, and to this day, every day of my life I've learned some really good customer service skills.
Well, first I want to just touch on the Boulder aspect. Of course, our
Yes.
hearts go out to everyone who is, in the aftermath of the fires, and do want to make sure our listeners know that Brighter Day is a resource. We're available and absolutely want to help in any way that we can. Anyone who's been a victim of the fires, if you need to connect someone with us in that regard, feel free to reach out to the law firm. Okay, so Orlando, I got to tell you, I'm a Northeast Florida gal. That's where I'm
Nice.
originally from. And my husband and I have our hearts set on having a property for our grandkids. We don't have any grandchildren yet, but for our grandkids to come to within like a 10, 15-minute perimeter of the Magic Kingdom. So along the
Wonderful.
Butler chain of lakes, and that's an area I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
So are you a fisherman, or did you enjoy the beaches there?
Love the beaches.
Right.
Yeah, the sunshine. I mean, there's those 3 o'clock rainstorms that happen in the middle of the day, the love bugs, things like that. But it was nice to live in Florida. Luckily, when I was there was no hurricanes during the years I
Really?
was there. So I lucked out. And then I
Right.
decided to come back, and I was drawn to the seasons that we have here in Colorado Springs and in the Pikes Peak region. I just loved, once again, the fresh air up here. I loved Orlando, but I just wanted to be back home and be in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, speaking of seasons, love bug season, right?
Yes.
So for anyone who's not initiated, love bugs are these little black insects that kind of connect back to back when they're mating, and they are prolific and ruin automobile paint jobs, everything.
Yes.
So how did you like dealing with that?
I was new to love bugs. I really didn't know what they were growing up in Colorado Springs. And so unfortunately I didn't have a grill to kind of protect my vehicle. And so I had like scrubbing the bugs off. And
So nobody showed you to go to
nobody
Ace
showed me.
Hardware and like get the screen
Yeah.
and kind of jerry rig
Learn the hard
yourself.
way.
That's pretty funny.
Totally.
All right. So, okay, back to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were talking about leadership training. Tell me what that was like for you.
I mean, really, one of the top things with Disney is we really learned how to personalize every single interaction that we had with individuals. And so I always make sure when I'm interacting and throughout my career path to call people by their first name. The first name is something that's really powerful. So, my career path, I've worked in advertising, I've worked in staffing, higher education, and now in nonprofit. And nonprofit is totally new for me, but I've used those leadership principles of just high touch customer service, the personalization, all of those things throughout my career path.
So was that your favorite aspect of working at the Magic Kingdom?
Yeah,
Like
it was
just
great.
that leadership training in particular?
Leadership training and just, the magic that goes into every single day at the parks. Every single feature and interaction, they spend hours. It's a 24/7 operation.
Right.
So-
I mean, and they've got the, sort of like the behind the scenes and the front of the scenes. I think that's fascinating. That's one of the things that I've actually looked at for our law firm is to spend some time learning about like that branding proposition because it feels the same anywhere you go in the park, and it does. Like when you interact with a greeter, like one of the very first people in the parking lot, or as you're coming in, or if you go to guest services, or I noticed a little bit the last time we were there, not as much in the food service, but I can imagine that gets a little tedious after a while.
There's always the same training. It's all about safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency.
Right.
So the courtesy and just the nature of the interactions and the quality interactions is ingrained in everybody from the start.
And I've heard about like staying in character.
Yes.
Like regardless of whether you're a character or not. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit weird backstage, behind the scenes when you'd see the characters with their heads off, and they'd be interacting very differently than they would on stage or in a parade. And so, I was at the Magic Kingdom up at the front and with the tickets and the turnstiles and giving directions. But it was a whole new world to see everything come into play and how people interact.
A whole new world.
A whole new world.
That's funny. Any favorite memories from the Magic Kingdom?
One of the things that was really special for me is one of the compliments that I got from an individual from Africa. And this really stood out for me. This individual lived in the village where Princess Diana came and visited his people. And so he said to me, Jayme, you are just as kind as Princess Diana. He said, I met her personally, I shook her hand, and you have the same personality, the genuine nature, and just enthusiasm for life as she does. And it just took my breath away. I was so touched by that compliment. So that really stuck with me, a good memory.
That would have touched me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I'm a huge huge fan, I would say, of the royals, but it's always intriguing to me, this concept of being a royal, especially on an international stage at this juncture when there really aren't that many first world monarchies left. So what a great compliment.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And so once you didn't work at the Magic Kingdom the whole time you were in Orlando.
No. I was just there for a period of 5 months. My first job out of college was in advertising. So I worked on the account services side, loved that, did that for a number of years. But then once again, just got a little homesick and wanted to move back to Colorado Springs. I was able to work for a staffing company called AdStaff with Carrie Schaefer. She took me under her wings as a recruiter, and I learned a lot about human resources and did that for 7 years. And that carried over to an opportunity with higher education. So I was in admissions and career services with Colorado Technical University. I did that for a decade and loved it, but I wanted to pivot, especially going into 2019, just to try something different. And nonprofit was new to me. Silver Key, once again, I have a servant's heart. I've always grown up, volunteering and helping others. When I was younger, I volunteered at the local hospital here in town at Penrose. I was a candy striper. I also was in a mother-daughter philanthropy group called National Charity League. So we did community service, mother-daughter, and then grew up, through college, being part of a co-ed philanthropy fraternity called Alpha Phi Omega. So
nice.
really, volunteerism and philanthropy has been part of my DNA all throughout life.
Right.
And that's where I felt compelled to be able to help seniors. My grandfather was a Meals on Wheels
Let me
client.
just pause on that because you mentioned Silver Key. What is Silver Key?
Yes. So Silver Key was founded in 1970.
Okay.
We have services that support seniors within the local Pikes Peak region. So we offer everything from rides to meals. We have Connections Cafe, companionship programs. We've got the largest food pantry in southern Colorado. So we get our food primarily from Care and Share, but also from donations. We also have a robust thrift store and a senior health and wellness program. And that encompasses everything from the vets, Reassurance Plus, guardianship, and medical power of attorney. So there's a lot of wraparound services that people don't realize that we offer. So it's a really special place. I think we're both best known for our vans and shuttles and our Meals on Wheels service, but we're so much more than that.
And that's who you're working with now?
Yes.
And in what capacity?
Yes, I'm the Director of Volunteer and Community Engagement.
Okay.
So I oversee the entire volunteer program. I'm part of the Volunteer Impact Program, the V.I.P.
Okay.
And I make sure that the operations are smooth each and every day. The volunteers are a heartbeat of our organization. We would not be able to do what we do unless we had volunteers helping us. So, our volunteers create smiles, and not only do they impact lives, but they change lives and save lives.
Right.
So it's
Well,
pretty amazing.
that's remarkable to make that transition, especially in 2019.
Yes.
Right as actually, I heard a little boy the other day call it the pandemic. So, and I'm like, that might be more accurate.
That is.
So, we're right in the middle of a pandemic, is what he
that's
said. So, you were talking about like you did, the service as a candy striper.
Yeah.
You said at Penrose?
At Penrose Hospital.
And you did that with your mom?
That I did individually, but
Okay.
the mother-daughter group was called National Charity League.
Okay.
It still exists today.
Okay.
So I was in it 30 years ago. Date myself a little bit, but it was a mother-daughter philanthropy group. So we had really
Okay.
great service projects. We actually helped out at Care and Share,
Right.
the local soup kitchen. We did park cleanups, just a variety of tasks to help me learn what it means to give back to others and to make a difference in the community.
So your parents really were the ones who instilled into you this idea of volunteerism
And service. Yes.
Okay, so what are their backgrounds?
Yeah, they're retired teachers from District 11.
Okay.
They taught for over 30 years, and they're actually volunteers now with Silver Key.
Nice.
They
Did
help-
you get them engaged?
I did. I recruited them in, the recruiter and me. So they help out in the food pantry, and they love it. They've been able to really see all of the services that we offer for everybody that identifies as a senior. So I think that it's opened their eyes because they know about the rides and the meals, but now they didn't realize we had a food pantry and that we have all these behavioral health and companionship services that are available.
Okay.
So
You're listening to Another Brighter Day in the Neighborhood. I'm Angela Jones with KPPF. All right, so I think it's really cool. Like it's almost like a generational. Like you've got this generational service mindset. I don't know another way. Like almost legacy. Like so you and I know you said you were kind of involved in this sorority, and I know you're real actively involved in the chamber and some other things.
Yeah.
And that idea of instilling these types of values in a legacy fashion is really intriguing to me. Did you guys like talk about that when you were growing up? Just this idea of passing the servant's heart forward?
Yeah, my parents always wanted us to have the tools and realize that we're fortunate to have everything that we have. So they wanted to expose us to different areas in the community and be able to experience the satisfaction of truly helping others and changing lives. So I learned from a very early age to be of service to others and how satisfying it is. It just makes you feel like you're glowing inside.
Yeah. So, and you said us, so you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother that his family lives in the Baltimore area. So he's on the East Coast. I miss him. I go out there and I visit and he has fresh seafood and I get to, sit and be on the water. But I miss him. I hope one day that he and his family move back. My little nephew's 12, and so he's involved in sports. And, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, they all, like all of us, work really hard. So they're dedicated, but they have fun hobbies and they have quality family time. So
What sports is your nephew involved in?
he's involved with basketball.
Okay.
So
Is he a tall kid?
He's taller, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's loving it. And it helps with social connectivity. I mean, that's the big thing too, is he's an only child, so they want kids to be able to know how to socialize and how to have really good team building skills and problem solving skills and things like that. So it's teaching him life skills that he'll carry on throughout, his work experiences and just overall chapters of life.
Right. Well, and that's real interesting that it kind of reminds me of the work you're doing, just this idea of like the social connectivity is also a key, value that you seem to bring to the table in your current position.
Yes.
So tell me more about that. What opportunities do you facilitate for social connectivity for the seniors that you serve in your position?
So ultimately the seniors, we have a companionship program that enables seniors to have that social connectivity. A lot of our services are based on social determinants of health, and that's around food and housing and transportation and having those connections. The basics.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right. And with this pandemic, when seniors were isolated, things like suicides went up and just depression and all of these things. So programs that we offer with the VETS program, Reassurance Plus, it changes their lives. I mean, they're able to have people come in and really talk with them and have really great conversation, take them out for ice cream or, take them on errands, whatever they need, because they want to have that connectivity and they want to share their story and their journey. I had an opportunity actually last week to sit with a couple here in town. He was a veteran, and they've been married for over 30 years. And this couple, I sat at their dining room table. They had a really nice, nutritious meal that we brought to them. And they just told their story. And I just said, do you need any help with anything? And they just said, we want you to listen. We want you to hear, what our life was like. And we're so happy you're here today.
Jayme, that's precious.
Yeah, it was really touching.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what I'm taking away from that interaction is, it provided you with the opportunity to get socially connected as well.
Yes, exactly.
And is that something that, volunteering, that you all, I mean, I think I'm asking, but I guess I'm really more making an observation that is one of the things that is one of the inherent things that volunteers receive, especially working, with Silver Key.
Yeah, they're able to volunteer in all aspects that I mentioned with all the services. So we're able to tailor based on their talents. So if somebody loves to talk on the phone, if they want to drive one of our vans, if they want to do calls of reassurance or help out in the food pantry. So there's lots of variety. I want all your listeners to know that they can pick and choose if they want to get involved in something short-term, long-term, maybe an individual or a group volunteer project. There's lots of opportunities.
So you do have group opportunities, okay.
Yeah.
And where are your greatest areas of need right now?
Pretty much throughout the entire organization. I mean, really, we're looking for drivers. We're looking for people with the Reassurance Plus program, with the companionship program, and the VETS program. There's a lot going on with our food pantry. We get a lot of deliveries every month from Care and Share. So we're looking for individuals in that capacity.
Kind of organize or hand things out or what have you.
And then our thrift store, we're also looking for individuals to help out at the cashier stand as well as the inventory. Anybody can shop at our thrift store. We have durable medical equipment. So if somebody has walkers or canes or anything like that, they can bring them to Silver Key and we sterilize them, and then we're able to put them out on the floor again.
Is that the only thing that's at the thrift store?
No, we have much more. Anybody can shop there. We have books, clothing, jewelry, decorations, the whole gamut, household goods. So anybody at any age can shop at our thrift store.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and I know it's probably going to be difficult for you to choose, but what area have you enjoyed working most in? Saying if you were to come in as a volunteer or come along, shoulder to shoulder working with volunteers.
I mean, it's hard to pick just one area.
I know.
Like I said, my parents are in the food pantry area, which has been amazing, and to see them, because they assemble the bags, and they're able to see the fruits of their labor, literally.
Sure.
But I would say the companionship portion of things, that Reassurance Plus program, and that's essentially bringing the meal, providing companionship, and then we have Porch Light technology, which provides the video and the audio technology for the seniors to stay connected with their families.
So what is that? Tell me more about Porch Light.
Sure. So they have a tablet, and then they ultimately basically have their family members and loved ones on speed dial.
Oh, nice.
So they click on the button and they're able to see their loved one or talk to them on the telephone. So it's that sense of digital connection, that connectivity that they seek. So, that's really most intriguing to me right now because the program is growing. We're looking to assist more clients, but we also are needing more volunteers to support the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. Tell me particularly, we have such a large military presence here, such a large presence of veterans in our community. Tell me more about that program.
Yeah. Good question. So the Veterans Program is open to anybody that has served at any point in time, any length of service. And so we pair them up with a volunteer companion. It doesn't necessarily have to be a volunteer that's a veteran themselves or in the military, but we like to pair them up with a patriot to be able to share their story. Once again, have that fellowship and the companionship and be able to be alongside them, day in and day out, whatever they need to care for them and just know that they matter.
Right. So, what are your big plans for this coming year? Not Silver Key per se, but maybe for yourself personally.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go to the beach again. I miss the beach. Kind of the Florida. Maybe California. I just love the waves. I mean, I love the mountains here.
Right.
But I'm definitely want to take a quick trip to the beach.
A trip to see your brother, maybe.
Yeah. Exactly. Some fresh seafood.
Yeah. So, all right. So, when you're talking about fresh seafood, what's your favorites?
I love crab and lobster. And shrimp.
So he's in Maryland, Virginia.
He's in Maryland.
Area. They've got the best. I've got to tell you, Dungeness, though, I think is my absolute favorite. I've gotten to the point, I'm just such a snob. I'm like, snow crab, forget it. Too much work. But Dungeness, I'll work for. So that's one of the things when I was first coming up out of high school, I went and worked in upstate New York, and then we had some friends that who were from early in college who were from Maryland, DC area or what have you, and that was the first time we actually went to a crab boil. Where they would do the whole thing where they boil it, and it wasn't like same as a low country boil like you have in New Orleans or what have you, but similar. And they would just boil it all up and then pour it onto a table.
Wow.
Yeah, where you've got the crab and the corn and potatoes, I think, because in Louisiana, I think it's crawfish mostly. But yeah, you'd sit there and just, in the summertime, eat all that. And that's such a good time. Have you guys tried something like that?
I haven't, but it sounds great.
I would hit your brother up
I've got
for
to
that
talk to him about that for
experience.
sure.
I mean, that's one of those kind of things. And so, other than the beach, what are you looking forward to most this coming year?
I mean, I'm focused on a lot of work-life balance. I'm somebody that's so passionate, having a servant's heart. I sometimes push myself really hard. So I'm planning on just incorporating times of rest. And I love social connectivity with myself. I love being around friends and family and just relaxing and having quality time. So nothing really specifically planned on the horizon, but we'll see where the year goes.
So what are your favorite things to do in terms of relaxation or R&R?
I like to cook and hike and have people over and socialize. Once again, I'm a very social person, and cooking is a lot of fun. I think people, like you talked about with food, food brings people together.
Right.
And so I just love creating memories and laughing and having fun. And there's plenty of hiking trails here in the Springs area. And even nationwide, but I think we're pretty lucky with what we have.
So lucky for me, one of my best friends is like her whole way she ministers to people or provides hospitality is through cooking, and she's fantastic.
Nice.
So she has a number of signature dishes. What's yours?
I love to cook breakfast items. I mean, I definitely can cook, evening, like some Italian, Mexican food, but I'm really good at pancakes and omelets and, just those yummy things with a lot of berries and fruit.
You get real creative? Are you kind of,
Yeah.
Like hollandaise sauces and the whole nine?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll have to have your favorite radio show host over for breakfast sometime soon. So how is it that people can get in touch with you at Silver Key to volunteer or to explore that for
Yes.
group volunteerism?
So at Silver Key, we have what we call the Silver Line, which is another area that we're open to recruiting volunteers to help answer the phones. But they can contact us at 719-884-2300. So 719-884-2300 or info@silverkey.org.
Okay. And before we have to take off here, is there anything that you want to make sure that you communicate to the community
Yeah.
about, what you've got going on over there?
I definitely want the seniors and listeners, all of your listeners, to know that we can help them individually or their families. I mean, we create services that not only change lives but save lives. So we want them to know that we can help them, live, and age gracefully and live a healthy lifestyle with dignity and independence. So our services are essential. A lot of people don't realize is the scope of services we offer. So we encourage them to go to the website, thesilverkey.org, to
Okay.
learn more.
And what would they find there?
So our website has all of the services that we listed and that we provided. But once again, it's a great way to see a lot of our videos that we have, a lot of testimonials, and information about our volunteer impact program.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This
Absolutely.
has been fun.
Yeah, it's been great having you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much for joining us for another Brighter Day in the Neighborhood. You can reach us. I'm going to start that over. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us for another Brighter Day in the Neighborhood. You can find us here, same time, same station every week. And until we see or hear from you again, have a brighter day.
Bye.